Bantamweight bout, Christian Rodriguez coming in at minus 155 against Cameron Saaiman coming in at plus 125. Over under 2.5 rounds, minus 175 for the over, plus 145 for the under. Here we are. This is probably going to be a controversial fight of the week as well. Cameron Saaiman picked up a good amount of wins in the UFC. He's kind of looked really good. I mean, for 22 years of age, he's got the ties with Dricus du Plessis, still undefeated. And then you get Christian Rodriguez, who ended the hype for Raul Rosas Jr. It's going to be a fun fight, I think, and I'm hoping we do get a good fight. I'm kind of torn here, but if you look at Cameron Saaiman, all of his fights in the UFC have taken place on cards with Dricus du Plessis. And this time, he's not on the card. So I don't know if I like that for him, because he kind of gets maybe a little bit more bump as far as the weeks up to the preparation. He's still 22, so he doesn't have a guy like Dracus with him in fight week, and it's going to be in the smaller cage at the Apex. He has gotten a win at the Apex. He was on the Contender Series, but either way, it's first time in the UFC fighting at the Apex. C-Rod looked pretty dang good in all of his UFC fights, even the one that he lost, short notice fight against Jonathan Pierce, and that was at featherweights. I mean, since then, first round finish against Josh Weems, and then the win over Raul Rosas Jr. A good fight. Who are you liking?
Yeah, I'm kind of torn as well on this one. It's tough. Both guys, kind of up and coming prospects who are young, who have so much potential. And for Christian Rodriguez, though, the one thing I think people are looking too far into is that win over Rosas Jr. When he was able to survive, and then from there, Rosas Jr., when he couldn't find that early finish, he didn't really know what to do. And when he got trapped on the bottom, he might be a really, really good offensive wrestler and grappler, but he just wasn't good off of his back, I guess. And for Rodriguez, seems like the best element of his game is just being a pure mixed martial artist. He's decent on the feet. He's decent with the grappling and wrestling. He'll get up from up under you, and he also shows the ability to take you down. And he's tough as nails, and he's got a lot of endurance. Can fight for the duration of a 3-round fight. So those are all things you really like to see. And for Saaiman, though, he's got like a little bit more urgency to finish fights, in my opinion. He's got 3 fights in the UFC, 2 wins by knockout, 1 by majority decision after, I believe, getting the point taken against Mana Martinez that made the fight kind of close and interesting. And then, the TKO in round 3 against Joshua Wang Kim on the Contender Series. On the feet, I think Cameron Saaiman, a lot more volume here. His defense is good. He doesn't really get hit all that much. But he's got some power in his hands too. Out of these 4 fights under the banner, he's got a couple of knockdowns. He's got 3 KOs. So he's obviously dangerous. He averages 1.33 takedowns per fight too. You like to see that. Lands him at 66%. His takedown defense is only 41%, but he works himself back up to the feet, which is also good to see on his side as well. This is a tough one though, because it's like these guys are almost the same fighter, like both up and coming, both have impressive wins. Not a lot of losses. And, when Christian Rodriguez took the loss to Jonathan Pierce, when you look at JSP now, he's climbing the ranks pretty fast and he's dominating everybody, and he's a super good grappler. And Christian Rodriguez was able to have some success in that fight himself. So I think this is a razor close fight. I'm going to lean with the South African Cameron Saaiman here, just because of that finishing ability, just because of the urgency. He seems slippery on the mat. Well, I like Christian Rodriguez here, but man, I just think Saaiman has got a little bit more tools in his back pocket to find this win. But again, could go either way and could be really close. Could be a split decision type of fight.
Yeah, this is kind of a weird one in the fact that it's a step up for Cameron Saaiman, and for Christian Rodriguez, it might be it's something that he's already seen before. Like if you go from JSP. And then kind of a layup against Josh Weems. And then he was an underdog against Raul Rosas and pulled it off. But for Cameron Saaiman, I mean, he's minus 560 against Terrence Mitchell, minus 275 against Martinez, minus 315 against Kozlo. These are fights he's supposed to be winning. I do think Christian Rodriguez has a good all-around game. I think Cameron Saaiman has a good all-around game. I think it really just comes down to who shows up that night. And at this point, I don't know. But I think Christian Rodriguez will show up, and I think he'll get the win. So I'm going to go with C-Rod. But I'm going to keep an eye on this one as the week goes on because I want to see, where the money's at, because I think Saaiman as a dog will be probably a popular play. But then you're also going to get at the people that are going to say this is deja vu. Christian Rodriguez killing the hype on another undefeated up-and-comer young guy. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. But for now, Rodriguez will be the pick.
What's the over at? The over could be because both guys seem good enough to where they're not going to get finished here. Minus 175. Yeah, it's a little juicy.
Is it?